So I know I'm dressed like some sort of hippie fortune teller. I see granola and downward facing dog in your future. I went on another shibori dyeing bender this weekend, dyed my shirt, dyed my scarf, dyed a cuff that I no longer appear to be wearing. But my unwise fashion choices isn't why we're here today, because that would not be an Art Teacherin 101. That would be more like a trilogy of episodes. We're here today to chat about flops. You know what I'm talking about. Those lessons that you work so hard on and create beautiful teacher examples for, and when you present it to the class, it hits the ground with a splat. I have my share of flops, and in fact, I had one this week that I want to chat with you about. And the reason I want to talk to you about them is for a couple of reasons. One, I just experienced one this week. And two, I recently had somebody ask me if I ever have lessons that aren't successful, because I don't share unsuccessful lessons on my blog. Here's the thing about blogging. When you're looking at a blog, bloggers blog for a couple of reasons, and I'm speaking for myself. We blog to share, and when you share, you want to share your successes. And we also blog because we're a little bit braggy. That's just how it is. That's the kind of people we are. We blog to share and to brag. So nobody wants to share and brag about a big flopped out, splatted mess that went down in their art room, which is really kind of a bummer, because then it leads folks to believe that this person who's blogging is way up here. And I could never be way up here. That is so not the case. So don't be duped by the smoke and the mirrors that you see on blogs, especially mine, because y'all, I have so many stinky flops up here in this room, you would not even believe it. So now let's talk about a flop. So there's some things you can do when a lesson flops. The main thing you want to do is you want to flip that flop around. To do so, you want to make sure not to do the following. You don't want to place blame. You can't place blame for a lesson flopping on your students. I'm sorry, you just can't. And you also really shouldn't bother doing it to yourself. Here's why you can't blame the students. You might be thinking, but they weren't listening. They weren't paying attention. Why? Why weren't they listening? Was the lesson not engaging? Why weren't they paying attention? You got to get that classroom management thing, man, worked out. Trust me, I have this happen a lot, and I get frustrated with them, but I can't, because it's some failure that I've had along the way. And that brings me to my next thing, which I just did. You can't place blame, and you can't feel shame. I can't shame myself into thinking, man, my classroom management, I need to work on that. I need to get it together. Because blaming yourself and shaming yourself is counterproductive. Instead, when a lesson flops, think of it objectively as you can. Let go of the negativity and really focus on what didn't work. For example, when my first graders, we were making dream catchers, which I don't recommend doing, and I noticed that the string that I had given the students to sew their dream catcher with was frustrating to them because it was much too long. I tried to reteach them the second art class, and they still struggled with the same thing. So instead of teaching them again using that same string that was not working for them, I tried to think of what I could do instead. How could I flip that flop? And I tried to think of it as objectively removing myself from the situation so as not to blame myself. And that's when I just decided to give them shorter strings and to give them tape to adhere it to the back instead of expecting a 5-year-old to know how to sew something. So if you can think about the issues in the lesson that flopped objectively, even make a list if you need to, and think about how can you either reteach it or reintroduce a different supply that'll make their life easier. And look, there's nothing wrong with, if something flops, stepping away from it and not coming back. Lesson learned from you, for your students, and it's okay to just walk away. So, when you got a flop, don't place blame. Don't feel shame. It's totally counterproductive. Think objectively about what didn't work and how you can reverse that to flip the flop. So there you have it. your fortune from today's yoga, meditating, granola eating, soothsayer. Namaste. Bye, you guys. Talk to you soon.